Welcome back to Rusted Up Garage, where we are going to cut the rust out of the garage. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's one of them dad jokes, just it happens. But anyways, you're not going to want to miss this episode. This episode is going to be where we chop the whole front of the truck out, well, like it looks now, and then we're going to put it all back together, thanks to AMD. See? Look at that, AMD. Oh yeah, it's going to be awesome. Okay? But, so stick around, like and subscribe. This is going to be an epic Firewall video. So, I know what you guys saw, and you may be thinking, you know, I got a little out of control. In the last video, which was a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm just going to patch what's here. I'm not going to replace it. Well, the more I got poking with my screwdriver, the more I realized just how bad it was up in the cowl, up into here, okay? And I'm going to show you guys in a second before we start cutting on this thing, okay? So it really came down to weighing it out. Now, this is an easy fix for me, really. This is not bad. I can fix this really simple. And the fact that I'm putting vintage air in, it gets rid of all this, so this ain't really a big fix for me either. Neither one of those are a real big deal, okay? This right here gets a little more tricky in here because all of this is eaten out all around the brake support, all the way down to here, okay? All the way from here to here. So now I'm in the upper cowl and I'm in the lower cowl. So that becomes a little bit more of an issue, but still fixable, okay? As you see, I did pull the dash out. You'll see that only because I wanted to show you guys kind of where we're at and it's easier. But if you look, it starts back in here and it goes across and you can see the light. It goes all the way across the top. And here's the big hole here that we saw for the whole, this is the whole brake, this is your brake pedal assembly. All the way down to here, it's gone all the way to here. And then I'm gone a little bit in the kickers, but that ain't a big deal. So it really comes down to, I mean, you can see this hole's here, this hole's here. We'll see some more holes. We're gonna cut it apart. And I'll show you more holes as we cut it up. But it really came down to, what am I doing with this truck? This ain't gonna be just a turn and burn and get rid of it. I'm turning this into my daily and a pulling truck that I want to keep for a while. So it really didn't make sense to just kind of butcher it back together. Because honestly, to fix all this in here, I could have cut little pieces and welded them in, and it was never going to be right. We were going to have more seam sealer in this thing. It was just not going to be right at all. Believe me, it hurt me to buy these pieces. Because like this piece, I'll show you guys in a bit, you can kind of see in the background, but it is like the whole cowl piece. Now, we're not using all that. I'm going to cut this thing here, and I'm just going to splice it in right here. I'm not getting up into the roof. There's no point in that. That's retarded. But this piece, super expensive. The Firewall, expensive. These pieces, all, the side wings. So, I mean, these 5 pieces were pretty expensive. And it really took a lot for me to outweigh that. But I'm not going to chat about it too much longer. As you guys could see, we're just going to do it. So I'm going to come in here with a Sawzall. I'm going to start chunking this thing out in all big chunks. There's nothing to save, so I can just cut it in big chunks. And then there'll be a lot of cleaning out for me to do, which I probably won't bring you along for. But, figured you guys wanted to see me at least, maybe, get after it with a Sawzall for a few minutes, because that's always fun. Especially when, you just get to watch and I get to repair. So, first things first, like I said, I did remove the dash. I drilled it. I drilled first. I peeled the first layer back. And then I took the little, whatever it is, a little belty, sandy thing, and just hit them, and then pulled the dash out to save that. I got a little cleanup to do, but it's not bad. So I'm just gonna pretty much take this from down to here to here. I'm gonna come down to here, maybe cut across. I'm gonna try to remove the front cowl, and then you guys can really see the inner cowl, how it works. And then I'll come in and I'll chop the firewall out, chop the kickers out, and then I just have, you know, a lot of time with the grinder and a drill bit and cleaning up everything and then test fitting. Now, I don't need to put any supports in. It's not gonna go anywhere. I'm not cutting into any of the roof. I'm not cutting into the floor structure. None of this. I'm just taking out the firewall. So I know it's not gonna go anywhere. So we're gonna just go ahead and do the right thing, and I guess it's time is to just cut it. Now I don't want to get into this back structure here, so I do got to pay attention to that. And I'm hard on blades. Just really hard on stuff. What am I hitting in there? Oh, I see. They put a hump in it. Look at that thing. God, I just can't have nice things. It comes down to yeah, I'm gonna come down through. Get in there! Whatever that hump is, I keep hitting it. And really making a mess. I'm going to straighten these out with a hammer. Too cheap to throw them away. They're still good. I got that one. That's two of them. I'll straighten them back out. Yeah, they're a little hot right now. So, here's this cowl piece. So this really ain't that bad. Well, it's bad in there. But, now you guys can see. Look, this is how the whole seam is, see? It's bad into here. It's bad all the way down into here. And it just rolls down in there bad. Not to mention the holes in here, the holes in here. It just, you know. Just how it goes, I guess. So I think I can cut here next. I gotta save on this because that stays. But I think I come down to here, and then I can kind of come through here and take out this section. That's like that. you go. You see them holes there? I mean, getting to all that was going to be a real pain. Now I'm going to replace this piece with it, but see, this firewall goes into here. So it's going to be a bit of a treat. But I mean, the rust holes, here's that one, the initial one that I saw when we bought the truck. I'm like, oh, that ain't going to be too bad. But look, it's all the way down through here. See it? It's all the way down through. There's nothing there left. There's just nothing there. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Let's go see how bad the other side is. You piece of crap! I mean, why did it bend them right there? It's like, where are all my bent ones? Where's my other bent? Or straighten these out. Time out. All restored on. You know, I know I'm going to need them, so I'll just keep them in my hands. Look. More of it. Nope. Comes new with it. It's really messing up my blades. This thing is not to cut any of that. It's pre-cut. All right, it's just trying to get through. Yeah. After several cuts, they do this. You know, that's for cutting. All right, there, that's for cutting around a corner. Oh, but I'm done with corners, so we're gonna just put that one back over there until we need it again for cutting around a corner. guys ready for this? Ah! It's for the extended footroom version right here. Okay, pretty much gotten rid of the rust now. Look at that, see? Now you can see, look at it, all the way across, all the way across. They just don't stop. There was no patching this the right way. That's the right way to do it. So, now I'm going to spend the rest of the few days I got here, and I'm going to be drilling out all these. This panel needs to come out. That panel needs to come out. And that goes back into this section. See how all this spot welded into here. So I got to get all this cleaned up, and the panel runs back into here. So I may do a little creativity into here, a little splice job. I don't know, we'll see. But she's not, I'm telling you, I did not want to do this. I am going to replace these two, because they have a hole here. So since I got to get in here anyways, I might as well just drill them out and replace them, slide a new piece in. It's just, it'll be a cleaner application. But the rest of it's good. I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with the rest of it. It just needs to be cleaned up now. So, which I'll bring you back as we're cleaning stuff out, but I don't think you really care for 48 hours of Ricky grinding and drilling and grinding and drilling. But when I do get it ground and drilled, you know, and start fitting stuff, I'll definitely bring you back, because we got to do some work in this section to, you know, bring it
Hey, you're going to show them that piece.
back together. What piece?
That piece.
Yeah, we start building.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll show you the pieces. We'll show you the pieces as I start getting them fit in. No sense right now. So. But cool. I think it looks better already. Now we're just going to weld another cab to this right here. It's going to be an 8-door. No, I'm joking. So, but. Okay, well, I guess. Back at it, Zach. You got work to do too. Well, bringing you back. I figured maybe you want to see this, in case any of you guys decide, you know, I'm going to cut the firewall out of my truck. It is a lot of work. I've been quite a while on this side. It's not completely cleaned up, but I'll kind of show you, you know, where we're at. I've, you know, removed pretty much everything. I got a little bit of work to do to get rid of that little bit, and a little repair right in here. Nothing crazy. I knew about that. And then I took this all the way up to the joint right here. This is actually a joint, so I'm not going to use the top piece, but I'm going to split it right where they split the roof. It made the most sense right there. So it's pretty much just drilling out all the little pop. And I'm using a spot weld cutter on the drill and just going down through and just cutting them out. So, but the problem is the way they lap this truck together. When you're changing the firewall, it's not in the same order they built the truck. So it gets a little tricky. So as you can see right here, here's some inner parts. This is where the firewall ends right here. It rolls into here, it runs down through here. So this piece right here is actually this piece right here, which needs a little straightening too. But this piece will go back in here like this, okay? And what I'm gonna end up doing is just welding this. Now it's heavy gauge stuff, so welding this won't be a problem. Back in, and it'll be behind all the trim, so you won't need it. And this is what holds the dash in, right here, okay? So the firewall runs in behind this. You can see where it runs. So in order to change the whole firewall, this has to come out. Well, this technically runs all the way up, runs up underneath this metal roof. So take all this out, it would be a nightmare. It keeps stacking up. Like you can see on this side, right here, how this is over top of it and it goes up through. So again, I'm just gonna drill it out and cut it right across here, pull this piece out so I can get to this. This piece also goes over top of the firewall. This is all firewall, by the way, all this. So this piece laps in and runs underneath the truck into here. And you can kind of see it down into here. So we cut all that out down through here, and then there ain't nothing here. There's a big hole right here. And then I'll come up through and cut this out. So then this panel will come out, and then the rest of this firewall can be pulled out. Of course, I'll come up here on the seam, I'll cut it, drill out all these spot welds, and take this whole corner piece just out in this piece. So, I mean, it's a lot of work to do it, but it is definitely doable. But I mean, you can see everything's good. See, this is all the lip that the firewall sits on there. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. There's 2 little pinholes right here. So that's an easy fix. Everything else is completely solid. So it just all because of the cowl leak, the square body cowl leak that went inside instead of outside, and just sat in the carpets and just rotted this whole seam out and that whole top seam out. But this will be far superior. So I just kind of wanted to show you what it requires to pull all this out. I mean, I've been hours just getting it apart. So now I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll get this side all apart. We'll get it all cleaned up, and then we'll start mocking in panels, and I'll bring you back when we start getting to that point, because it'll be kind of more exciting. We start putting the fresh firewall in, getting that all to fit in with all this stuff, and getting all the pieces fit, and get them all screwed together. And once everything's screwed together and it fits, we can go back through and make it all one truck. And that'll be exciting, because this is really the biggest project on this cab, besides that little spot in the back and a little spot over there. And then the cab's ready for a little bit of body work and get rid of the red. Well, I brought you back early. I thought maybe we would take a minute and address one of these holes together, you and me. Because you're always like, how do you address a hole? I was thinking to myself, I should show them. Now, we haven't finished cleaning all this up yet, but I did get it all cleaned back. See, all the old's out. So I have got it all stripped. I got to spend, I don't know, probably an hour with a flapper disc and get it all cleaned, and then a hammer dolly all this nice and smooth. But I got one more patch to make for this guy here. See this rocker down here? You can see the lip's gone from about right here, and there's a hole in here, and it's gone about here. Okay, back here it's still good. It's a little thin, but we're not going to replace all the way back there. Oh. So what we're going to do is we're going to make up the patch panel, lay it in there, cut it out, shape it, and then once it's all shaped, it's just a matter of welding it in, which we're not going to do yet because I want to get everything cleaned up and weld everything in one big shot. So, but we can at least make the panel. That's what I'm thinking. Excuse me, Zach. And my tape measure. It's for measuring. Mainly I use this for measuring. And generally I use this for sketching. Now we got a nice 9-inch piece there. 9 inches be good? Nope. It's got to be bigger than 9. I'd like to replace it about here. I think we're going to lob off a 12-inch chunk. It's going to be a lot of welding for Ricky, but that's all right. And then maybe like a 2, 2.5. Oh. What we're going to do is we're going to go 2.25. 2.25, okay? And we're going to use this right here as our straight edge to here. And then we said we want to be at 12 inches, right? Like that. The trick is keeping the cap in your mouth at all times. Just like that, okay? Now, I'm gonna push my glasses out to my cutting glasses. Okay. give you all a little advice too. When you cut with a grinding disc like that, and you have the safety guard on like I did, don't just give it. You know what I mean? Just do some cuts with it. If you just do some cuts with it like that, it'll just cut right through, and you're not going to blow your disc up in your face. Or just give it and let it blow up in your face. So what we're after now is, I want to know how big the lip is. It's about that big. It's going to go in here like that. So let's put her over in the old Bend-O-Matic. Really, the biggest thing is we need this for the door seal. It's pretty nice right there. But now we're going to want a little bit of a roll in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a little cut. Give it a little spot, put a little bend in it like that. Give her a little more shape here. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good right there. Now, if you look, it's got a little back cut here. So I don't want to get into all that. So it's going to be easier if I do this. And we're gonna, because we know the meat is good through here, right? Right, Zach?
Sure.
So we're gonna do that with it, okay? Go easy when cutting next to one thumb. Almost cut my whole thumb right off. And I mean right off. We're not going to let that bother us, no? Okay. So now, we know we want to be about to here. And we're going to take out all that. So, first things first we're going to do is we're going to do a little drawing on here like this. Okay. Now we do know we want it in some. So that line don't necessarily work. So we want it here. Okay. So we're going to do this. Cut it inward just a little bit like that. Okay? I'm glad you guys are back. That took way too long. Okay, so now as you can see, this piece fits just inside and leaves enough room for weld. So I can just come down through here, straighten this out, weld it right on down through to here. I'll do a little bit of trimming here. But yeah, once this piece is all welded in, grind it all flat, a little bit of skim, and just like that, hole's gone. It's really not that hard. I mean, what was I at? Like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. 15 minutes. We probably will speed that up or cut it off, or we'll do something with it so you don't have to suffer through that. But yeah, I mean, pretty simple. Now it's just really get this cleaned. Obviously, I'm gonna put some rust stop and I'm gonna clean everything before I put it together. But you guys got the gist, and what's nice about this is I can just drill the holes down through here. I can spot weld this all back down, and once it's seam sealed in, it'll be like factory without the holes. Oh. And now I got a spot right here for my seal. That'll go right through here, my door seal. Oh. Well, there you guys go. Just like that. Ain't none to it. Just get in there and cut it up. Hey guys, look, we're back to where the video began. Okay, so we have successfully got everything ground out, cut out, cleaned out. I restored the floor. I mean, it's brand new, basically. I put the weld through on, you know, all the way up through. We've actually already, I'm not going to lie to you, I've already pre-fit all this crap. Why? Because I have hours into this and days into this. And you guys don't want more than 40 minutes of this, okay? So that's just how it's got to go, okay? But anyways, we got it all cleaned out. It's cleaned out. I even fixed the holes while I was there. Oh, you remember this one? Remember? Hey, look. See? It's all tacked. Now it don't look the best because you got to go tack, 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 tack. So you don't warp everything. But once I grind this up real good, it's going to be like brand new. Okay? So I got all that welded in. This is all cleaned. Everything's fixed. Any holes fixed. And we are finally ready to install the firewall, which I'm pretty excited about. Now, we still got to do some more work when we install the firewall, but, you know, we will. So, again, we did get this sucker from AMD because they basically have the best stuff out there. And they don't even, like, sponsor me, but they should. But anyways, I've gone ahead and I've punched all the holes for welding because I don't have a spot welder. So I have a little punching machine. It's like a paper clip thingy that goes like this. And it just goes junk. So I got all that done. I also patched up this hole here. This is where the original, which I'll clean this up and put some silicone in that, or some sealant, or some body filler, you know, the stuff. And because we're not going to run a factory harness. Why would we run a factory harness? We're going to use 6 wires of it. You know, it's just, it's pointless. So I have pre-prepped everything. Everything has been screwed together. Everything's been clean and weld primed and everything else. So literally, I can just pull this firewall into place, okay, and put some screws in it, and literally start tacking the firewall all in place, which will take, you know, a while to get that tacked in, and then we got to patch a hole. So let's get at it, I guess. Now I'll just grab the self-tappers that I previously used, and I'll put them back in the previous holes that we know will work. Because that's the logical way of doing it. I mean, it's basically going together just like I planned it to. The one that probably got the clamp would be that guy there. That's the one that was really off. Well, it weren't really off. Remember, it was just not quite there. Actually, it's not far out. Look at that. See, just right there. Sucks. Some of my holes are a little low, but we're not gonna worry about that, Don. They'll still fill in just fine. Might just have to come back at them a little bit differently. But yeah, just like that. So we're gonna finish getting this thing clamped up, and once I get ready to start welding it, we'll get back with you. So, with some unbelievably good movie magic, in that split second, we moved all the holes up. I mean, I don't know how that happened. It was movie magic, basically. It was like they were too low, and just like that, they're where they belong. Yeah, I don't get it sometimes. But anyways, look at that. No holes. Look at that. No holes. So now what we got to do is fire up the old welder and start spot welding. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get Zach to throw you on a stand. We'll do a little time lapse on it. But it's going to be, you know, a while. I got to weld, and just keep bumping around. And then I got to do a bunch of fitting in here because, you know, the dash needs to go in next. So that can get welded, and then I can clean it up. So then the next piece can go on. So this is going to be a process. Like, for me, another couple hours. For you, another couple minutes. Okay, we're back on this epic project. And if you just made it through that incredibly long time lapse that hopefully we got down, you'll see that we have the main firewall and kick panels welded in, okay? All welded in and seam sealed. Now I really put it on with my finger and just smeared it and run it in. It's because I don't want it leaking. So I went ahead and got the good stuff and I put it to it. Now you're not going to see any of it, so it don't matter, okay? But it is all welded in. That's all welded in. We're putting the dash back in now. So it bolted back up in its stock location, no problems. Everything bolted in just like it's supposed to. And I'm clamping it here, all bolted in. And I mean, look at this epicness. I mean, it's all seam sealed because it was easier to crawl underneath the dash. You know, I'm plugged over there, so I don't have that vent because, again, vintage takes care of that. But now I got to literally go down through and I got to weld up this top piece here, and then grind them flush, and then the next piece can get laid over top of it and get welded to this piece. So it's just like you're welding on top of welding on top of welding. But it all came out good. I said she's a little, smeary, but that's okay. You're not going to see it back here. I'm going to undercoat all this in here anyways once it dries. I don't know, maybe tomorrow or the next day. But before I called it a night tonight, I really wanted it to be dashed back in. That's kind of a big step, I was thinking. So, but it's looking great. I'm very happy that I did this now. I wasn't when I started cutting it, but I'm getting more happy now that it's going back together. And it's going to be so much nicer. My toes ain't going to get wet when I'm driving in the rain. That's basically what I'm saying. Oh, what was that? I'm going to weld that sucker in, and you're going to go punch some holes down there on the next piece. And we'll bring these guys back, and we start putting in the next piece. Because that sounds like epic fun. Yeah, that's basically what it is. We're just hoping the windshield fits and we're done. If it don't, I got caulking. It'll fit. Well, I can't remember where we were at the other day, but Zach reminded me that I promised to bring you guys back when we put the cowl on. So I'm bringing you back. Okay, it's cold, a little chilly tonight. I ain't gonna lie. It's a little chilly, which is odd because normally we sweat in this shop. The old sweat shop here. So I reattached the cowl back on. Now again, I told you we had already pre-fit this whole thing. So that's how I know it's right. And we just used our couple screws here. Now I put these on to only reference where this needs to go up and down wise. Because when this is all hooked together, then it has to be here. There's just no, that's where it's got to be. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? All this is all loosey-goosey up here because I am going to weld that up top. You don't have to go crazy close. But we're going to weld that up top, and then we'll seam all this together like it's supposed to be. And get it all pushed down. So that's going to take me a few minutes up there on a stool of tacking and getting that right. But I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to come down through here and knock all these. Well, not those. Push all this in and get all that down through, weld up the holes, come across, because I want to be able to take these guys off, and I want to seam seal this gap in here. This one right here. That's where, all the big nasty happened. And then, as you can see, I undercoated this with really good undercoating. So once it dries, tomorrow night when I get home from work, I can spray all this from inside the ends with undercoating. Just spray it right in there real good. So we give it a halfway chance to survive. And at that point, I can put the end caps on, weld the end caps in, and Firewall is complete, minus a little grinding and touching up. At that point, some extra seam sealing. The Firewall's done. I can move on. I can seam seal up the floor, seam seal up everything that needs to be done, and it can go to paint and body. But yeah, I'm just going to start right here and, give it a push, get it nice and tight, and knock my coffee over, and then I'll be mad. And oh, not good. That's not good. I know what that sound is. I knew it. I knew it. Okay, well, I got to put some wire in it. Be back later. Okay, where are we at? Wow. So it seems like it's been like 2 weeks since I recorded last, and that's probably because it has been 2 weeks because, it's just been a busy 2 weeks for me. I have 2 other jobs. So this is not my job. This is my hobby, along with other hobbies I have. So I'm sorry if this video has been long and choppy and waiting, but it's been a lot of work to get to here. So as you can see, we have finished off the entire firewall. It is all welded in. It is all cleaned up. I'm gonna do some undercoating. I did undercoat all this in here. Not that you can see it because it's dark. It's all seam sealed really good. And, but yeah, look, no holes. Look, Mom, no holes. Oh, and it's the flat firewall. While I was there, I went ahead and welded these from behind. I'm gonna do a little seam sealer on that because obviously we're putting the vintage in, so I don't need any of that. And then I did obviously seal that up because we're not going with a stock wiring harness, because by the time we delete everything we're not gonna use, there's no point of that being there. So we'll just use a bulkhead. The rest of it is all looking good. I mean, we got it all tied in up to here. There's gonna have to be a little bit of fudge work done up in here, obviously, because you can only do so much with metal, where you gotta put a little bit of fudge. So that's all done. I gotta do a little seam sealing still. I welded up all the holes for the drip channel. We did finish that cab corner fix and that fix and everything inside. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I did mount the other door. Let's go look at that door because it is a fine looking specimen. Yeah, no, it's not really. But I will tell you, look at that gap. That right there is a square body gap. I mean, I'm just saying, I did pretty good. I got it all adjusted, got all this front down. I mean, that's nice. They had about 1/2 inch of Bondo right in this section to here. It had the good mirrors, you know, the little ones, the like cute little ones that I like. And they obviously filled them at one point really badly. And then they just mudded it like we're just gonna mud from here to here at 1/2 inch. It was crazy. I had to grind it out with a grinder. So I'm gonna weld up these holes. And Zach has to put a little fudge back in it, but not bad. But I mean, that's that fix down here. It's all good and cleaned out. He just needs to put a little bit of in there, and she's good. And all this is done in here. I mean, that's all seam sealed up. She is not gonna leak inside. Now, all this seam sealer, garbage. It just literally scrapes right out. It actually pulls out. Just see, just right there on the ground. You can just pull it right across the whole thing. It's pretty awesome stuff. Where am I at? God, I'm like all over the place. That's pretty nice. I don't know, there's Bondo in this too. There's been a lot of Bondo on this side of the truck. We're not really sure why. I'm not sure if it got sideswiped. I'm starting to think it got sideswiped at one time. Almost got all that cleaned up. Oh my God, I'm just everywhere. But that's what's going on here. Now, I am going to replace these door pins. I'm sorry I'm shaky. Zach's busy, so I'm doing this all on my own. But, you know, here's a door pin. It's basically in really great shape. So, these are not bad, but since I got them, I'm going to replace them. I thought maybe I brought you along. I'll show you how I replace door pins. Now, you got to pull the doors off, which kind of sucks to do this. But, I mean, while the doors are off, we might as well throw some door pins on it, grab the door, hang it back, and then square it all back up. Make sure everything fits good before she goes to paint. So, let's, without further ado, change these. I'm going to have to shut you off, put you on a stand, because, again, I'm solo department here today. Okay? Sorry, I got distracted. You know, it happens sometimes around here. I believe I was popping the pins out like this. Now, these do use a shorter pin on the lower side than the top. Look, see, different? You can either A, cut the new pin down because the pins I have are full length, or you can reuse a pin if it don't. Like this pin is beautiful shape. There's not, I mean, these back doors weren't open that much. So I'm just going to, I mean, even the bushings, honestly, I didn't really need to do them, but you know, the door's off, so it made sense too. This is where my cool little screwdriver comes in good. Is it, pops these pins out pretty easily. The rear ones that really didn't need them, but again, I'm here. It's a 2-second job. And just like that, they're replaced. Pretty easy. So now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna put this door on and work through the gaps. So let's move you over here. I'm gonna grab some bolts, grab a door. And now it looks like they changed this latch at some point. Probably. It was worn out, so there. So I just latched it. Okay, so first thing first we're going to do is put it back to where it was stock. Because the new door pins obviously lays a little bit different. It's really close. This poor light has gone through more breakups. I don't even know where you're gonna. Eventually, I'm not even gonna have screens for them. It's, you know, I feel bad for this poor light. It's had a rough life. I've dropped these lights. I've run over them. I've hit them with pretty much everything. Perfect. Oh yeah, look at that. It's almost perfect down through here. I mean, really. This one was way. Put another shim back here. That's pretty good. So I'm gonna go with that. A little drag on this, but I'm gonna just have to shim that over after. I'm happy with that. Now for the fun part. How much Bondo? You guys still here? Oh yeah, you are. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. This Bondo, can you see it? Look how thick that Bondo is. That's way over a quarter of an inch from here to here. Why they did that much? Well, to cover over the original mirrors. Okay, now that we made it through that, I mean, it's crazy because like, this is not bad. It's flat. It's just they welded up the holes. So they felt they just needed to like lay it on. I don't know. I'm glad I found it and took it out. So this thing actually had the original holes, obviously. You can. You can see them. So that's actually the original location, and their crappy weld job just blows right out when you weld it. Now there is a bracket right here that they removed that goes from here up to that bottom, and it's this guy right here. So that goes on, and this actually catches the bottom of the mirror to keep it rigid. So we're going to go ahead and just put that piece back in real quick. So there, just like that, we got the mirror brace back in that they obviously removed when they went to these mirrors. And that just kind of goes right here. So when you screw that in, it holds that in, and then obviously they were that big too from the factory, in case you wanted to know, because I just literally just blew out their welds here. So I will take the door off now, and I'm going to weld up these spots myself so Zach can body work those out. But the rest of it looks good. I mean, by the time this does this, I mean, that's decent as you're going to get it. I mean, again, we are talking, square body stuff here, so they weren't perfect. But yeah, there you guys go. That's how you do the door, how you get the mirror location back, and I guess next I'm gonna clean it up and do some seam sealing, and I think we're almost done with this cab. You can go out to the paint and body shop. Well, can you guys believe it? Because I really can't. But after a long month of recording, despite you're going to watch this in an hour, we are finally to the finish line on this cab. Well, at least for this department. Then it goes to the wedding tent for paint. But everything's all been welded. Everything's been sealed. Everything's been everything. It's just done, okay? The last thing to do is I want to undercoat the firewall so when it gets painted, it'll just be painted in and just be textured. Now, my favorite undercoating is the KBS. That is the best stuff. It is flexible. It is adhesion. It is paintable. It provides scent deadening. Yeah, all of it. It says so right there. So, and it stops it, the rust. With all this work, we want to stop the rust. So I'm going to bring you along. We're going to give this thing a quick psh, 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 and then we'll bring her outside in the sunlight for the first time in a month and take a look at all of our handiwork. How's that sound? Sound good to you guys? Sounds phenomenal to me. Okay. I did a stellar job taping this too, by the way. So. Now, is this necessary? Absolutely not. But I've gone this far, and I know how good this stuff is because I used it on the 55. So honestly, I would be silly right now not to use it on this, because it is a really good product. It's way better than them cheap undercoatings you buy from the paint stuff. I mean, from like the auto parts store. This can's actually almost empty. You can basically tell by the fact that it won't spray upside down. So we'll come back to that part. Now we don't gotta go crazy here, but just a nice top. Get our last dollar out of this thing. Nope, that one's done. Well, we got a fresh can. Ah, there we go. Let's get. All the way down through that seal right there. Oh yeah. And then Zach will just paint this firewall body color. Right over top of all this. It'll look like $1 million. Even though I don't have $1 million into it, but you would think I have about 1 million hours into it. my finger's getting hurt. I think this can's almost done, Zach. I will say it's not cheap, but you know.
You can get it in a big can too.
Yeah, but you can get it in a gallon to spray it. And it is, I think, a little bit cheaper, but for this application, this is fine. Good enough. Try my best to be consistent with my spraying. Although by the time he primes all this and everything, it'll actually be pretty smooth. It won't be too bad at all. Did I get this real good on this side? Yeah, I did. Should I get in there real good? Because that was definitely a problem before. What do you think, Zach? That looks good, don't you think?
Yeah.
Just let it dry up. Pull off my superb tape job. Well, if you give us just 5 minutes or like that of your time, we're going to roll this thing outside. You can see the final product. And we're moving on to another part of this truck that I am personally super excited about. Oh yeah, I am. Well, as promised, we're back. And you guys saw us just undercoat the whole front of this thing. So before, you remember we started, it was all the speed holes everywhere. And obviously we did all the replacement here, put the no AC firewall in, and I did block off that at the same time because we won't be using any of that. You saw us do the cowl, mend all this together. It does need a little bit of Bondo work here and there. I got everything seam sealed and cleaned up. Zach does have, we did weld in all the drip rail stuff because that was an issue. The drip rails were leaking in this truck, and that's what did a lot of the damage. The whole floor is seam sealed and cleaned. I did undercoat that whole inner firewall as well. You guys didn't see me do that. But I actually sprayed the whole inner firewall and the kick panels and all that in undercoating as well. I mean, we're giving this thing the absolute best shot at living for another 35 years or 40 years. I mean, we're doing our best. So there weren't much, just a little repair back here, if you guys remember that. We got that fixed. Zach's gonna put a little skim on it. We fixed this one corner right here. Don't get too close, it's ugly. And there was nothing in the back. We did dig all this out. We're actually gonna fill all that and get rid of it. And see, what else was in this corner? There weren't, oh, just this one repair here. We'd do that repair, which Zach's gonna put a little skim on that. We repaired the big hole in the floor. And again, everything's been undercoated, cleaned, scraped. It's gone through the mill. So, like I said, if you guys stuck through this much of the video, God bless you. And I'll do my best to be a little faster on the next one. I will, because we've almost caught up on all of our other projects that we have going. So I'll be able to dedicate way more time on getting these builds done. But we have started on body work. I'll let Zach skim around real quick. If you guys made it this far, you can see, oh look, yeah, the bed's almost ready for paint. Sure is, it is. We'll have videos for most of this stuff coming. Now, not a lot of the bed work, but when we get going on the cab and stuff, we'll have some paint work for you. But our next project is sitting right there. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. So stick around, and we're gonna do our best to resurrect this old square body that we thought was in better shape than what it really was, to include the engine, which is almost finished as well. But thank y'all, like and subscribe, peace out, enjoy your day.